Hey everybody, welcome to the Ask a Realtor show. I'm real excited about today's show. I am here with Mr. Tom McEvely. And Mr. McEvely is the brains and the brawn and the bucks behind...
Well, the bank was the bucks. I mean, we have an awful lot of investment into it. We've owned the building since '97. And when we had our restaurant equipment business in the front. And as the building evolved, I mean, there was a lot of deterioration, and we had to tear down quite a bit of the back of the building. It was a garment industry that was used and multi-purpose. And at one particular point, there was probably close to 300 to 350 people that worked in this building. It was a tremendous building for the community, because there was a lot of women that worked here as they were the second incomes that come in, while most of the husbands and whatnot worked down for Bethlehem Steel and other various businesses. But as we went into the year 200,000, things had started to change. And as I got older and our business started to slow down and the workforce became a little more difficult, my daughter came back into the business, and she had already gone to culinary school up in Montreal. And she brought this great gift to us and said, look, why don't we take the building and do something with it that would be more advantageous for us and the community? And so she went up to the bank and talked to them about it, and they said, go get your dad. So we put the plans together and whatnot, and they asked me who was going to do the construction. But after 30 years of doing restaurant equipment and restaurants and whatnot, I told them, look, I know what I'm doing here. And the bank gave the trust to me and said, go ahead and go for it.
Nice.
But we had a tremendous amount of start here. We had a lot of fellas that came to work for us from from your Perfect Nights, and fellas that were on the comeback, and they came here with great skills and whatnot, and we were very fortunate to have some of those people here. And it took about 4 or 5 months that we had to do the demolition of the building on the inside and get rid of all the old crap and the old stuff. I mean, we have things like some of these beams that are here, which are, I've talked to Stormy, who owns the mill up the road, and he said they must have came from the Midwest somewhere. They had to be imported here because at that time. And this section is from around 1920s. When we energized the sprinkler system here, those sprinkler heads were dated 1929. So, I mean, that sprinkler system and what Mr. Smith's family and the Hofford family really tried to take care of the people that were here for their security. We had to improvise and use a lot of what was in the building to repurpose it. We have a lot of steel that's around our bar that we built. That all came out of Bethlehem Steel. It was a guy who was a roofer, and basically we bought odd lots, and we basically put it together.
And I didn't want to interrupt you, but I think you said it's still stamped.
It's still stamped Bethlehem Steel. We didn't paint them and whatnot. We also use some of it over here at our coffee bar, which we have. So now when we put this project together, the idea was that we were going to have multi-entities here that would sustain this building, because it's a large building. I mean, we have 35,000 square foot here, and in our complex, it incorporates close to 20. And they wanted us to bring it up to the standards of today, which means the energy code. And then we had to improvise. Things like the garage door had to go, and we had to build these barn doors and sliding doors, which basically remained the culture of what the old style mill was. And we maintained the floors, which none of this stuff was ever cleaned. The pipes and whatnot that we painted probably had 80 to 90 years of dirt on them. So we had to clean the pipes, and that was, my wife and my daughter were basically involved with that whole thing, and I was directing all the other projects between the electrician, the plumbers, and all the contractors of what was going on. So the end result, it started to come together, and eventually we were able to come through with a vision. We had a lot of tweaking. We started with one concept, and then we had to go to another and move around. So. And unfortunately, we opened up in February 5th of 2020, and 6 weeks later we were hit with the pandemic. So now we have axe throwing, and we have the coffee shop, and we have the Gorge, which has tremendous amount of great food. We have a complex area over here, entertainment center, where we're hoping to do things like comedy night and dinner parties and stuff as we go down the road. We put a large deck on the outside so that people can sit outside and enjoy it, weather permitting, and this year was not weather permitting. And we've had these hurdles that we've had to overcome and whatnot, and it's just been a great venture. I mean, the end result is we have acceptance of the community and the tourists that come here, and they're just amazed at what we did. And I just never realized that until we got to the end and then looked around and said, holy crap, it really is a beautiful place.
It really is. I can vouch for it personally. I've been here to the brunch. They recently have pumpkin French toast. And if you have not had pumpkin French toast, you need to try this.
Yeah, and usually they get the portions are big enough that you have to take some home, because so we do not undercut anybody whatsoever.
And they take reservations online.
We do.
And it's easy to set it up. You can even pick your table.
Right.
I really enjoyed that.
The other thing too is that you can order online and pay online and for takeout for those people who don't have the time or whatever, or maybe have a family, or if we're billed with our reservations and they still want to have our food and can't come in because of the fact that we're too crowded, you can always have that and take it out, and we always try to accommodate as best we can.
Tommy, I love what you mentioned about the televisions or lack thereof. Tell us about that.
Well, when we decided to build this place, we added a lot of tables that had multi people sitting at them. You know, we have several what we call deuces, where two people can sit and talk. But most of our tables here are more for couples and families and whatnot. And you know, we don't I don't try to stop people from being on their phone, but I think the culture today is we just don't talk enough. And we tried to create this warm atmosphere where people would come and there's another person at the other table that they know, and it's part of the family, and it's just bringing the entire environment into a more peaceful and restful and enjoyable time. And it's worked.
And just to clarify, there are no TV screens here. So unlike the modern day sports pubs, you will not see that here. And it is just as you said. I've been here, and the level of conversation, it's a comforting noise, if that makes sense.
No, it's kind of rare, but we can accommodate so many people. I mean, our event room will hold 75, and between out here and the bar and whatnot, we're probably looking at another 75 to 100 people if we want, and then we can put somewhere close to 75 to 100 on the deck. Eventually, we want to do a concert. My ultimate dream is two things. I want to do a concert out on the other deck, and I want to do a Woodstock in Weisport, and have a load of bands and people sitting on the levee singing My Miss Apple Pie. I went to the levee and then I got dry, or something like that. I'm not a musician. Anyway, my other great dream, and perhaps it's too far in the future, was to build a covered bridge across our levee. We own all of this property that goes all the way to the river, which is, it's kind of inaccessible at the moment. And we really can't disturb the levee, but I would love to be able to get the Amish people to come in here and build a covered bridge, which would be a landmark that would put Carbon County on the map, besides our place. The Hubbard Mill in the Gorge, which is the restaurant here, has already established itself during these trying times, and people have come here, embraced it, and the tourists are now talking about coming back, and they're bringing other people. And we have some other things that we'd like to do and whatnot, and go on from there. That's all. One day at a time.
Thank you so much for giving us this look into the background of it. I think a lot of people come and have heard, but hearing the background makes such a difference. And it truly is such a wonderful addition to our county. It's
funny, the other day I had a gentleman say to me, and him and his wife, they had come to this area, and they said, you know, how old are you? And I said, I'm 76 years old, I'll be 77. He said, why would you do this when you're in your 70s? And I simply answered to him, because I can.
Amen. All right, thanks everybody. Tune in for another Ask a Realtor show next week.